The much spoken about demonetization drive has undoubtedly affected a raft of sectors, creating a direct impact on advertising. But interestingly, global leaders and thinkers still continue to carry a more optimistic approach. One of them being the Publicis Group CEO, Maurice Lévy, who maintains a bullish view on the Indian market, stating that India remains one of the most important markets for the company with opportunities galore. Tune into this rather interesting conversation with the man himself straight from the 2017 World Economic Forum at Davos as he speaks about the upcoming trends in the advertising business, the impact of global political scenarios in advertising, and Publicis Group's big game plan as it addresses the client's dilemma in a world of multiple complexities.
I have a very special guest. Mr. Maurice Lévy joins us right here on ET Now. Thank you very much for being with us. A lot of talk and discourse in Davos is about the new world that we live in, whether it's Brexit or the US presidential elections. I really want to ask you your view of the impact these events will have in the world we live in, and in turn impact on things like advertising and marketing.
Oh, this is a very big question. I don't know how many hours we have to talk about it, but clearly we are at a point where we have not been since the end of the war, because everything is under question. You have the Brexit, which is questioning Europe and what Europe will become. We have Trump, who has been elected and is putting in question the agreement with China, NATO, what Europe will become or not. He's supporting the Brexit and he's telling the Europeans that they are not doing a good job. And on top of this, you have this incredible revolution thanks to digital and the way information is shared, the way consumers are behaving, companies are run. So we are on the brink of a completely new world, and it's something which is both a little bit frightening and at the same time very exciting.
Frightening and exciting are two words that you would use to describe the new world, but this is a world where data seems to be losing face as well. I mean, how did everybody get it so wrong, both in Britain and in the US?
That is because people are not listening. Regarding Europe and also the US, the politicians were not listening to the people. And I remember I was in a meeting a few months ago, and I was saying that the populist is not the question, is unpopulism which is the question, because populists are just speaking about the real issues of the people. And if the classic politicians were taking care of those issues and were solving their problems, the world would have been very different, and those populists would not have been elected. Brexit would not have happened. The referendum in Italy would have been different, and a lot of things would have been very different. So the problem is not that we are getting it wrong. The problem is that we forgot one of the sense of the human being, which is to listen.
Well, that's an important thing that you're talking about. Power of One is a big initiative of Publicis. Would you care to describe this and the reason for adopting this new structure?
The silo approach has been very good for a lot of companies, including in the advertising world, because this has helped building expertise and very talented people and a specialized approach. By being specialized, at the same time you are working in silo and people are not talking to each other. And with the digital approach and the fact that people have access to all information, we need to change our approach and we need to act as one. And we see that in a company like ours, we have a lot of possibilities and we are not unleashing all our assets. So thanks to the power of one, we can unleash all our capabilities to the benefit of our clients. It's tough, it's complicated because we are working against the reflexes and the habits of the people. But thanks God, we have done that since now more than a year. It's working very, very well. And I'm saying that the people who were criticizing what we were doing are now thinking that, yes, one company is not bad. So that's good.
Talking about clients, what's the sense you're getting, whether it's from the US or Europe or even from India, where, there is a lot of demonetization chatter? Are people willing to spend? I mean, what are the trends that you're picking up in 2017?
All the clients, without any exception, want to save money. And all the clients, without any exception, want to reduce their costs. So that's clear. And clearly also digital is something which is generating some cost saving. Besides this, when you look at the situation of the vast majority of our clients, they are struggling to see exactly what kind of organization they should put in place to face this new world, how they should deal with digital, what kind of teams and organizations they should put in place, how they should change the way they are operating. And they are all also reorganizing. And I was speaking with a client this morning. He was telling me that they are copying our model of Power of One to create one company, because this is one of the issues that they have. So we see that clients are like ourselves, facing a lot of new approaches, new difficulties, new ways of working, and at the same time, they are trying to get the best of this new world and innovating. And I think that working very closely with them will help them moving to the new world.
It's very interesting that you speak about clients and you say that, it's there's so much of new in this world around us that sometimes it's difficult to keep tab. But I'm going to ask you specific questions about Publicis right now. It's been a tough year as far as you're concerned, because you've lost key accounts like P&G and Walmart in the US. Could things have been a little different in hindsight? Could you have done things differently?
First, we have not lost the account. We have lost the media account of P&G and Walmart in 2015, at the time of what was called the Media Palooza. We would have done the thing differently if we knew. And clearly, when we lose an account, we consider that it is our fault. It's not the client's fault. I was speaking about listening, and clearly, when we lose, we have to think that we have not listened enough and that we have not listened properly. Since then, we have won back a lot of operation, including with Walmart, including with P&G, including with Kellogg, an announcement which has been made this morning or yesterday in the US. And we see that what we have put in place is working extremely well. And we feel very good about the new organization, the fact that we should be winning more. And I'm confident for the future.
Maurice, there's a lot of reports that I keep reading on your role once you appoint a successor. So the obvious question is, when will you appoint a successor? What is your role going to be after that? Let me be cheeky and ask you, is it going to be Arthur Sedone who's going to take over?
First, I'm not going to appoint a successor. It is the board mission. And we are not in a dynasty, and we are not in a royalty. It's a company which is governed by rules, and the board will make its decision shortly, and that decision will be known as soon as the board will finish its work. There has been a lot of discussion already, nominating committee, board meeting, and the beauty that the successor will come from within, and the beauty that we have very strong contenders, and we feel very good about that.
I have a final question to ask on India before I let you go. India is a very under-branded, under-advertised market, and I'm sure it's obviously on your radar as far as clients and growth and opportunities there are concerned. So what sort of opportunities are you seeing in India right now? And just to speak about demonetization, because many people thought there will be a pullback on ads. Have you seen that trend emerge?
Yeah, regarding India, one first thing that you have to know is that India is a very, very important country for us, much more important than 2 years ago, simply because we have acquired Sapient, and we have in Gurgaon and Bangalore very strong teams, and we have now 13 or 14,000 people in India. So it's a very important country for us. India has always been a market who was investing in marketing and media expenditures for a lot of good and bad reasons. First, the good reason is the fact that it's a market which has not the same kind of resource than a developed market. And the bad reason is that management are always trying to under-invest in this area, which I believe has been wrong, and I believe that they have not built the kind of brand that they could have done had they invested as they should have. And I'm confident that they are seeing, first because they are great entrepreneurs. There is some incredible entrepreneurs in India.
That's right.
I'm not saying this because I'm speaking to you. I'm saying this simply because we see that. We see that in the UK, we see this in France, we see this in the US, we see this on the global scene, and this is absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that this is very good for India. So I'm confident in India.